Alright, this message is for about buying a house and why you should buy the worst house on the best block that you can afford. Alright, I'm going to get right into it. So, the deal with buying a house is the reason why you would want to, if you staying anywhere from a long period of time, you would basically be paying yourself back. So, like if you have an apartment, you pay that lease or you pay whatever for, you pay rent for, let's say a year, right? Let's say your rent is $100. You pay $100 for a year. That's $1,200. That you could have used that if you was buying a house. That $1,200 you paying, you would have basically been paying yourself for the year. And you know what I mean? It just keep going up by numbers. And granted, it's a lot of things you have to do with a house. Like things break, you're responsible for them. Things go out, you're responsible for them. But in the bigger picture, it puts you way ahead of the game. Like, all right, let's say you go 2 to 3 years with paying on this crib, right? So you come into a situation to where you need some money, and you need some money, so you take a loan out on your mortgage to take care of the situation that you needed the money for, and like for whatever reason it was, you got time to pay it back. So basically you're paying yourself back. Now this is why I say buy the worst house in the best neighborhood. So when you buy the worst house in the best neighborhood, you walk into that house with equity. Equity is basically this invisible money that the house can have the potential of making. So let's say your next door neighbor house is $100,000 and you buy a crib for $80,000 right next door, but the house needs some work done to it. You do that work and you still paying on the house. So when you do that work and you still paying on the crib, your house value, like your house goes up to the value of your next door neighbors. So their house is worth $100,000. You do the work now, your house is worth $100,000. Sometimes maybe even more. Or you know what I mean, you can buy the crib for even less. And a lot of foreclosures, you can buy them type of houses, well, not now, but like around 2011, you could buy them houses for almost half. And that's kind of the situation that I walked into. Like, I walked into a situation to where I bought a house in the best neighborhood I can afford, but I bought the house for almost half of what it was worth. And I had to do work, you know what I mean? I had to do a lot of work to fixing it up. But now, like the way the economy went, like my house done doubled in value. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say buy the worst house in the best neighborhood, because now my house is equal to like my neighbors. So, and that gives me leverage. That gives me leverage on a lot of situations. So where if I came into a situation where I needed a chunk of money, now I can get that money because my house is actually valued at that price range. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people use that equity money to go make more money. So it just puts you in a great spot all the way around. So, and in the downfall of buying a house, do not go buy a house that's outside of your means. A lot of people fall into this trap. That's called being house poor. So basically what house poor is, you buying a house that you can't afford. A house should be one of your checks. That's it. Like the house that I stay in, I can pay it with one check for the month. That's the ideal paying, because you never, like if you do that, you're never going to be in debt. You're never going to be in a bond. And that's the way the economy is set up. Like it's set up to where they want you in a bond and they want you spinning your wheels. So in order to get ahead, man, you gotta live below your means, so to speak. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though I can go get a way bigger house right now, like I'm not gonna do that yet until I make more money, because I'm gonna end up just like the next person on a different scale. It don't matter how much you're making. You all, like, no matter how much you're making, if you house poor, you ain't gonna enjoy life. So you can have a person with a $200,000 house that's house poor, or you can have a person with a $50,000 house that's house poor. So one of your checks should cover that. So I gave you the game on that. I told you my experience with it. So take it and run with it.